Hospital Porter's Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to Panwo TV. I've just seen something I've just got to show you. Right, this is the Viz comic. It's really, really good. Here it is, Viz number 226, June and July 2013. Adult comic, really, really good. This is a comic strip called Jack Black and the Midwife Mystery. This is the first scene here. Kind of Enid Blyton style adventure, I think. The summer holidays were here. And once more, and young Jack Black, the boy detective, and his faithful dog Silver were staying with Aunt Meg, who was postmistress in the sleepy Cotswold hamlet of Little Snoozing. Good morning, P.C. Brown. How are things today? Not so chipper, I'm afraid, Aunt Meg. Another villager has gone missing, completely vanished off the face of the earth. Oh no! Oh, you don't say. How many is that now? 23 in as many days. I wonder if you could put this postcard in the window in case anyone has any information. Certainly, that'll be 20p per fortnight. Missing, presumed murdered. Mrs. Sheldon, age 58, hair normal, height average, eyes 2. Answers to the name of Mrs. Sheldon. Contact P.C. Brown, Little Snoozing, 1212. Goodness, it's Mrs. Sheldon, the greengrocer's wife. Why, I saw her only yesterday. She was delivering some carrots to Mr. Haxton's house. Well, I'd best be off. Let me know if you hear anything, Meg. I will. Hello, Miss Kipling. Hello, Meg, dear. I just popped in to get my pension. Of course. And who's this handsome young gentleman? This is my nephew, Jack, and his canine psychic, Silver. Well, I never, hasn't he grown? You might not remember Miss Kipling, Jack, but she was the local midwife for over 60 years. Yes, I think I must have delivered everybody in Little Snoozing, you know. I even delivered you, Jack. Oh, you've heard about all these people going missing in the village. I have, but I've got my own troubles to worry about at the moment. Really, what's the matter? What's the matter? It's Mr. Haxton who lives next door. He keeps me awake all night with his chainsaw. A chainsaw at night? What's he doing? I have no idea. But you wouldn't believe the screams that come from his cellar in the early hours. And as for the stench from his drains, well. And that's not all. When he's not chainsawing, he's digging his garden and laying patios all hours. Oh, I say. 23 patios he's got now, Mr. Haxton has. He was putting another down, putting down another one at 3 o'clock this morning. I haven't had a decent night's sleep in weeks. Well, try not to worry about it, Miss Kipling. I'll try. See you next week. Okay, bye now. Right. Good morning, Mr. Haxton. What can I do for you? I'd like a machete, a hacksaw, and 20 gallons of hydrochloric acid, please. I'm sorry. I'm afraid we don't stock anything like that. Oh dear, how very unfortunate. I could order for them for you if you like. Yes, that would be most kind, thank you. I'll give you a ring when they come in. So you can pop along and collect them. Yes, or perhaps you could send young Jack round with them. Of course, he'll be most welcomed. Goodbye to you. Did you see that, Aunt Meg? What do you mean, all the blood on his apron? No, not Mr. Haxton. He probably just cut himself shaving. I was talking about Miss Kipling. Didn't her behaviour strike you as odd at all? Odd? How do you mean? When she collected her pension, she failed to produce any form of photographic identification, such as a valid electoral identity card, driving licence, or current UK passport. But she doesn't need to. She's lived in Rose Cottage all her life, and everyone in Little Snoozing knows who she is. That's not the point. Under the terms of the UK Benefit Payments Act of 2007, as amended, she's required by law to produce her credentials before collecting her pension. Miss Kipling is concealing her identity. She's hiding something. Silver and I are going to go and find out what it is. That night, as Jack and Silver took up their station behind a bush in Miss Kipling's garden. Shh, I think something's happening, Silver. What's happening next door? Mr. Haxton lives. Here she is, let's watch. Here she is, let's watch. Ah, so that's a little game. Come on, boy, there's no time to lose. 5:30 the next morning. Bang, 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 bang. Open up, Miss Kipling. We know you're in there. Oh, I'll be down. Oh, it's you, PC Brown. I'll be down in a moment. And the riot squad. Quick, she's going to make a run for it out the back. Break the door down now. Yes, Jack. Good gracious, what's going on? Smash. Council bylaws say that all bins must be put out on the day of collection, Miss Kipling. But I did put it out, Jack. Yes, at 3 minutes before midnight yesterday. Oh, I'm most terribly sorry. You see, I haven't been sleeping very well, and I... Save it for the judge, Miss Kipling. Well done, Jack. That's another miscreant brought to justice. Good morning, Mr. Haxton. Putting down a new patio? Yes, that's right. You can't have too many patios, I always say, Mr. Brown. Chemtrails in the sky there, look. And that is so funny because that is exactly what this world's like, isn't it? And I just had to share that with you. I don't think I'm breaching their copyright because I'm just reading it out to you. That is just exactly... It is, isn't it? I mean, it's bureaucracy comes above common sense and what's real and what's not real. And you just get that so often now. And I've got another example to show you. Right, it's this film. It's called Flight Plan. Brilliant, super suspense thriller. Really, really good here. Directed by Robert Schwinter. It's kind of a German film, I think, but it's English. And this is the lead character here. It's played by actress Jodie Foster. And her name, she has an unfortunate name actually, Kyle Pratt. Kyle Pratt. What happens is, Kyle Pratt is she's on a plane with her daughter, a 6-year-old daughter, and they're flying on a long plane journey. And halfway through the flight, she drops off to sleep, as people do on the plane. She wakes up and finds her daughter's not there. She looks everywhere for her, because obviously a child can't very easily go missing on a flying aircraft, and no one can find her anywhere. So she complains to the captain. The captain checks the flight manifest and finds that she got, according to their bureaucracy, their paperwork, she got onto the flight alone. Kyle is the only person who got on, and she didn't bring her daughter with her. And it's what follows is really disturbing. It's a bit Alfred Hitchcock actually. It's very sort of psychological and creepy. Is that as soon as the pilot announces this, she starts to doubt her own sanity. She starts to doubt whether she brought her daughter onto the plane with her. And what's more, all the people who were sitting in the seats next to her who were talking to her and her daughter, they don't remember her having a daughter with her. And it's Kyle that starts to doubt her own... Even Kyle begins to doubt it in the end and wonder whether she actually did bring her daughter onto the plane with her. And it's really, really strange that as soon as some figure of authority shows some piece of paperwork, it begins to sort of like override every other piece of knowledge in our head. I think that's very, very odd, very strange. And so that's very, very well worth watching this film, Flight Plan. It's worth getting this film out and reading it, and watching it. And of course, in fact, you know, the truth of the matter is her daughter did get on the plane with her, and I won't spoil it for you, but do go and watch that film. It's really good. I've got another perfect example of what I'm talking about. Right? It's a really, really good example. I don't know how many of you have seen the film Brazil. Have you seen this one? Brazil. It's a film by Terry Gilliam, who's with Monty Python. Really, really great movie. A very, very sort of satirical film. And it's about a kind of world in which it's where bureaucracy sort of tops everything. It's almost like an extreme example of what I've been talking about before, with the example with Viz and that film Flight Plan. And it's kind of like an Orwellian dystopian world. It's very, very funny as well. It's satirical, well worth seeing, and it's really great because there's a scene where these people get raided on Christmas Day. It's a famous scene at the beginning of the film when the man gets kidnapped. The reason he's kidnapped is because he has a name which is very similar to somebody else's, and through a misprint he's misidentified.
As a result, he gets like taken in by the authorities and tortured and killed. So please do go and watch that film, Brazil. Very, very good. And I mean, it's so really strange, right? Because I mean, I got on a bus once, and behind me was an old lady, and she got on and she showed her bus pass to the driver, and the driver says, "I can't, you're going to have to pay the full fare." And she says, "But I have a bus pass. I'm an old age pensioner." He said, "Yes, but that's only valid after 8 a.m. in the morning." And she said, "Come off, it's 8 a.m. now." And he says, No, it's 1 minute to. If I let you on that bus, I could lose my job for letting you on this bus at 1 minute to 8 without you paying with that bus pass. And she's absolutely indignant, and so was I. And you could see even the bus driver was very, very uncomfortable with this. He wasn't a bureaucrat, he was just an ordinary guy doing his job. But he said he could lose his job for just 1 minute. Now this is extremely disturbing, because this is the kind of world we're living in. As the examples I've just given you, where authority and bureaucracy overrides everything else. I mean, in any sensible world, it would be very, very easy to overlook just 1 minute. In any sensible world, Kyle, this lady who got on the plane in the film, Flight Plan, everyone would jump to her defence and say, "Look, I saw her daughter there. She was sitting in the seat next to her. I spoke to her. These kids were playing with her." And in Brazil, of course, I mean, well, you've got to watch the film to see how silly that is. Because, well, the film is not silly. The film is a work of genius. It's Terry Gilliam's best film, actually, with a possible exception of The Fisher King, but well, that's a story for another time. The point is, this is a really, really brilliant film, Brazil, by Terry Gilliam. And I think this is the way we're controlled very often. We're controlled by bureaucracy and authority. Put those two things together, and it seems to override every other sort of reasoning system we have, every other cognitive process existing in our minds. There's a joke, actually. It's the joke about the Hanged Hangman. Now, it actually was included in Richard Curtis's Blackadder 2 comedy series, but it actually dates back much further than that. I think it dates back to Dick Emery or something like that. What it is, John is a hangman, right? He's an executioner, and he's sitting there signing the death warrants, the execution orders for all the prisoners he's got to execute in the morning. And it's late at night, he's getting tired, and he accidentally signs his name in the wrong box. Rather than the box where he's supposed to put the execution signature, he puts his name in the box where the prisoners is supposed to go. Anyway, he sends these papers off, and in the morning, the police break down his door and they drag him away. And they put a noose around his neck. They take him away to be hanged. They put a noose around his neck, they tie him up, and they put him on the gallows. And while this is going on, his fellow hangmen are all like getting him ready. He's turning to them, he's saying, "Look, guys, this is crazy. You don't want to hang me. Can't you see you've got the wrong man?" And they turn around to him and they say, "John, we hear what you're saying. All right, we understand what you're saying, mate. But you see, we haven't got the wrong man. We've got the right man, and we've got the paper to prove it." So I think that joke absolutely illustrates everything I've been talking about in this film, and it's really, really important that we don't fall for this. It's really, 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 really important that we do not allow bureaucracy and authority to override everything else we know to be true. We have to break out of this. Thanks for watching Hapanwo TV. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order.